lucky WIL listeners. Stand by, St. Louis. You can win, too.
But probably won't. I always wanted to change the call letters of WIL to KRAS, Crass Radio. It was a whole different story in those days. I got another one. This is something that this will explain itself if we just play it right now.
Most music on WABC, New York. We really didn't hear the last few words of the Ron Lundy show. I mean, Ronald is one of my dearest friends, which shows you what lousy taste I got. But anyway, would you say your final words, please?
Bye.
Thank you very much, Ron. WABC, Dan Ingram. Go, go, go! Forever! No, you left out the rest of it, Ron. You said bye. You forgot the bye fine. Love you madly for all the things you are, and you know what you are, you little devil, you. Where's that savage Indian?
Come to me.
Right,
You look like big hors d'oeuvres. What you are to spit.
Touch me, I'll pull your feather.
No touch, that's not feather, idiot. I could come in upcut. Me swing 'em wide swath.
I don't believe this. All right, Ingram, Lundy, whatever thing. Just love me tonight, or whatever you got a minute. Tom Jones, number 12. Mike Hayes, 30 seconds. I know that it's late.
Always the pessimist. Those are great days, Ron Lundy, and even though you're on from 9 to noon now, and I'm on from 3 to 7, we still manage to bump into each other every once in a while, like yesterday.
Every so often.
Every so often, yeah. Hey, thanks for dropping by, bud.
Hey, it's my pleasure.
Okay, we gotta play a record here because we should play some. But I remember this record, and I think of the title now, and it has a whole different meaning to me. This is called Sugar Shack. Oh, Sugar Shack. Yeah, the records were short in those days. That was the number one record of, I guess it was 63 we're up to now, right? Yeah, number one record of 1963, Sugar Shack. Jimmy Gilmer and the Fireballs, wasn't it? Yes, I've forgotten. I don't have it in front of me, but my fading memory comes back to me. We have real news here today, as opposed to some of the reminiscing with Rick James we'll be doing at 25 after the hour. We'll have the Shadow Traffic, for real Shadow Traffic, with Joe Nolan to tell you what's happening, and we got to get you up to date a little bit. And then right after that, you heard Bob Lewis refer to what happened on April Fool's Day way back in 1964. Well, we have a bunch of that for you right after the news. Right here.
WABC, Action Central News.
The festive atmosphere of this 4th of July holiday weekend has been marred already by a subway accident in Brooklyn. 2 in the women's finals. Tomorrow's John McEnroe and Bjorn Borg in a replay of their finals match last year in the men's division. Baseball strike talks are to resume tomorrow morning here in New York. Tonight on WABC, it's Columbus Clippers baseball at 7:30. WABC News Time 3:59, just before more of Dan Ingram's 20th anniversary program. Here's WABC's exclusive radar weather. Changeable skies through Sunday, warm, very humid, with the ever-present chance of a shower or thunderstorm and patchy fog at night. The overnight low is near 70, tomorrow's high 84, Sunday's high near 87. I'm Rick James at 77 degrees at WABC, New York's radio station.
Thank you, sir. And this little bit of memorabilia.
Most music on
77 WABC.
WABC, New York.
That's John Cozier, who's still here and doing well, too. We told you that back in, I guess it was 64, we did an April Fool's thing, and it was a joke played on Dan. Rick Sklar, who came in a couple years before that and was the guy responsible for making WABC into the superstation that it has been. Single-handedly, he's the guy who can put it all on his door. He did it all. Anyway, he came in and he had the idea of, let's have a contest on how we can fool Dan Ingram on April Fool's Day. And the point of the contest was, as you may have heard during the last hour of the show, that Dan Ingram will be on the air, but he will not be on the air. We'll just patch him out, and he will not be on the air. We'll listen to him from time to time and go back and forth. And Bob Dayton will remain on the air from another studio around the corner at the hall at 5B, I guess it was. 5A is the studio. It was on at 39 West 66th Street when he used to come out of there. And it took me a while to figure it out, but I finally did. Now, this particular piece of what we call an air check has been telescoped. That is to say, the music has been stripped out. And the reason why the music is stripped out is because when people listen to tapes in the business, they don't want to bother going through music that they already know anyway. They want to hear what happened on the air. So you will not hear the records. You'll just hear the beginning and end of the record. And you'll hear what happened way back on April 1, 1964.
Music and the Big Dan Ingram Show next. The temperature now 42 degrees and sunny. Next news when it happens on WABC, AM and FM, New York.
77 WABC.
I don't know what they have planned for me today, but this is the day they were going to try to fool me in that April Fool contest. Well, here I am anyway, folks. So...
You're on your mark. Get set for All-American. 77 WABC.
I see there's guys in the studio who don't belong here, and I don't know what's going on. Come on, Ray, what's happening here? I'm very much shook up. All I know is I walked in, and there's shreds of a bomb all over the floor. Evidently, it went off too soon. Anyway, this is Big Dan Ingram laughing and scratching on April Fool's Day. Yes. It's number 9 from the All-American Survey. All right. Done. The 4 seasons, a minute past 2, and your Ingram's Ingram.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby D right here, around the corner in another studio. Dan doesn't know what's going on, and we have planned this for days, and this is great. We're around the corner in another studio. Dan is in the regular studio doing a normal show, and they're swinging and winging and wailing, but he doesn't know he is not on the air. We will tape record it, play parts of it back, the clean parts to you later. But this is it. This is what he was wondering about. The April Fool plan against Dan Ingram. I will be on the air, Bobby D, around the corner in another studio. We'll switch back and forth, tape record it, and so forth. Okay? Let's swing this.
Cause now it's Judy's turn to cry. Judy's turn to cry. Judy's turn to cry.
All right, Leslie Gore and the Big Dan Wednesday show, and that's Judy's turn to cry. It's going to be Dan Ingram's turn to cry today, and this is our April Fool's joke on Dan. Bobby D, right here on the Dan Ingram show for about, till Dan finds out about what we're doing, or for a half an hour or so. Now, let's join him now and see what he's doing, huh?
You latched on to Radio 77, WABC, the swinger in New York town, the only station with young ideas for New York.
It's a weird way to eavesdrop, folks. Here he comes.
We got a Beatles.
He thinks he's on.
Yeah, doubleheader by the Beatles, back-to-back Beatle goodies from the All-American Survey. Start off with number 22 this week, From Me to You.
All right, well, he's wailing. I hate to take away a Beatles song. Dan's wailing. He thinks he's on the air.
77 super hot ABC. Hits with a beat, swinging or sweet. Hits with a beat, swinging or sweet. Hits with a beat, swinging or sweet. Hits with a beat.
All right, Bobby D, on the Wednesday Dan Ingram show, our April Fool joke on Big Dan is that he's not on the air. I am. Wait till he finds out. He's much bigger than I am. He'll probably smash me into the ground. I'm going to get killed, folks. He found it. We're on the air, Dan.
Oh, you're on the air. I look at the Thank you, sir. That was the jingle. I love to hear that one again because that was the original jingle that I used for 17 years, as a matter of fact, until we changed jingle companies and then we couldn't use it anymore. Hey, how come we're playing it now, come to think of it? Don't tell Bill Meeks. If you know Bill Meeks, don't tell him because his company owns that jingle. I don't think they're in business. Just one more time. I want to hear it in the clear. Oh, that's nice. I like that. That brings back a lot of memories all by itself. Speaking about memories, there was one day when Bruce Morrow came into the studio, and I was doing the weather forecast, and we have what has since been called the brief showers incident, and it sounded like this.
Brief shower, a thunder shower this evening. I love brief showers. They're fun. Watch them briefs coming down. Cloudy with Let me see those. At least some of the bread. This is Cousin Bruce Morrow wears Jackie classic briefs. He just threw a dozen of them at me. Where were we? Yeah, it's a wonderful. Gee, what people would think with you with Jackie shorts there and all that. I don't know. It may have been another brand. I don't know. But then they smell new. Cloudy with fog tonight. Temperatures in the mid-70s. Partly cloudy, warm, and humid Saturday. Your image is gone, Bruce. They know what you really are. Showers likely towards the evening tomorrow. Temperatures in the 80s. Cloudy, the chance of rain Saturday night and Sunday. I surrender.
WABC 1960.
No,
There we are. I don't know whether you realize what happened because I did an awful lot of laughing during that. But what happened was Bruce walked in and he had just bought some underwear. And he must have bought a couple of dozen sets of underwear. I guess Bruce changed his underwear a lot. And at least he did in those days. I don't know about now. Someone's on the phone right now. I hear a beep, but I don't hear a phone. What do I hear? No, it's not there. Huh? No? We can't figure it out? I'll be calling you. No, it's just tone. Is that what you call your basic deadline? No, let's see. Well, we'll find out. Well, I don't know. Did we get disconnected? Anyway, we had Cousin Brucey on the phone. And we should be able to talk to him soon as they call him up again. Or probably the line is busy. Because they will reestablish contact with Cousin Bruce as... I don't know. Let me just pick this up and see if he's on there. I see the other phone is ringing. You can't get through on this line. Hello? No, there's nobody on that phone. Here we are. It's the Patchwork Show. I'm going to pick this phone up and see what happens when I talk on it. It's tone there. Lots of tone. That's tone. Okay, I'm going to disconnect that. I'm going to pick this phone up. Hello? 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 Nobody there either. Okay. We got 3 dead lines in here. As was it ever thus? Well, anyway, in the meantime, until we find Cousin Brucey again, there was something that happened that I think what was that? I can't read your writing through the window. You have a very tiny thing. Where? Huh? 2494. Which one is 2494? Let's see here. If I punch up 2494, 2382, 249. No, is that over? 2494. There's no 2494. What are you talking about? No, there's no 2494 over there either. Every line in the thing is ringing. Let's see here. We'll just try this one. No, that's not it. 2378.
Before I did.
There we are.
You should be picking up very, very shortly.
Hello there.
And if you've been listening to ABC,
I can hear Bruce.
once in a while, but you listen to New Jersey 1510 too. That's very, very important.
Okay. Bruce.
Somebody there yet. We'll just keep hanging on.
We seem to have one-way communications here.
If you're on New Jersey 1510 with Cousin Brucey, you will hear some of the greatest music from America. Hello? Anybody there?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Hello there.
Do you hear me? Bruce? Bruce?
Hello?
Hello? It's modern technology.
What's happening?
We went to the moon and we can't get the phone plugged in.
Be doing that very,
Hello?
very shortly.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes. I'm doing... Who's this? No, you're not Cousin Brucey. Thank you for calling. There's a joker on the phone.
Our sunburn thing, by the way, is sick.
How come he can't hear me and I can hear him?
And I'm waiting right now on the phone.
Yeah, I know you are.
Hello?
Would someone...
Bruce?
Yes? Bruce?
Hey, Bruce?
Now I hear someone talking to Bruce. Well, we'll wait and see what happens. I don't care. They don't pay me today because it's commercial free. I only get paid when we have commercials. You know what I think we ought to do? That's good. I love that. That really helps. There's always something that goes wrong in a situation like this. We're gonna wait for Bruce is still waiting on the phone. I feel bad because he's on the air on his station at I guess his Wall, isn't it? Whatever station it is he's on. I know he has 3 of them now. In case you didn't know, Bruce Morrow's very successful in the broadcast biz. He has 3 radio stations. And what line are you talking about? It doesn't come up here. No. Going to bring him up on the hotline? To bring him up on the hotline, what happens?
We'll find out.
Can you get through to him? Well, why don't you try dialing one of these lines? Then it'll be easier to do. Dial on this line, okay? Now, you tell me. Okay, well, let me. I hear nothing on this. I hear nothing. There it is. Now I got a tone. Give me the number. All right. I just want to give the number out over the air. 201. No, I got to do 1201, don't I? Oh, got that little announcement. Dial 1. Oh, you turkey. Shut up. Here we go. 1201. That's the mystery number. Oops, I dialed wrong. Well, in moments like this, I'm going to turn the microphone so you can hear me. Let's see here. 1201. And then we get the mystery number, and now you don't know the exchange. 7400. Okay. Well, we should be able to do this. Now, do I hang it up before we talk? I got to talk to Bruce first on the telephone, and then I can hang it up. Hello there. Hello, New Jersey 1510. This is Dan Ingram. We got disconnected with Cousin Bruce. I'm hanging on. Hello, Bruce. I hear you now. You hear me? Okay, wait a second. I got to put something down here, and then we'll be able to go, all right? Okay, you got a few seconds right now. Do whatever you got to do. Bruce is on the air on his radio station right now, and he's going to take it off the air. Well, the record that's on the air right now is going to take off the air. I'm going to take some of this tab here. And we're waiting for Cousin Brucey now. Boy, I tell you, the more sophisticated we get, the harder it gets to get on the air. You got something funny to tell me? When you get on with me? I'm on the air live talking to you now, Bruce. You're not on the air. You're not on the air yet. No, don't worry. No, don't say, oh, Bruce, it's good you're not on the air. No, that'd be religious. Yeah, right. You can't say that. That's wrong. No, I know you would. I'm ready to do something. Tell me when you're ready to do something. You're ready? Okay, good. Stand by. Now then, where are we here? Hello? Yes.
Dan?
Yes, through the miracle of radio, we're talking to each other.
I'll be darned. Isn't that bad? Listen.
What?
Can you hear me all right?
Now, you sound great. How are you?
I'm not bad. Dan?
Yes.
I just want to say something to you.
What's that?
Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary, my favorite DJ. Happy anniversary to you. Surprise!
Thank you. I didn't know you could sing, Bruce.
I can.
Well,
Dan,
you
listen,
just proved it.
I've been following what's going on, and I just want to congratulate you on your 120th anniversary on ABC. Isn't it something like that?
Yeah, the guy who did the afternoon show before me was named Marconi.
We both did. You were there 1 month ahead of me. It was 1832, I think.
There was something like that, yeah.
Well, I called before. They told me everything's ready. My equipment's working beautifully. We got 840 engineers running around, and they get a lousy phone call.
I love it.
Well, I'm glad that everything's still the same there, Dan.
Hey, tell me, Bruce, the people want to know what you're doing these days, and why don't you explain to them what you're doing? Because I hear you're just cutting up a wide swath in radio broadcasting.
Good time. Well, first of all, more important about what I'm doing, I've been following what you're doing. I just want to tell everybody, and I'm on record, and as you know, anytime I'm interviewed, I'm always asked who's my favorite. And it's not baloney, Dan. You've taught me a lot. We've worked a lot. We went through a lot of bridges we've crossed together. And as far as I'm concerned, Dan Ingram is the best of all of them. And I really mean that, Dan.
Well, thank you, Bruce. You're very kind.
The greatest, you played the brief shower thing, which I couldn't hear before. But of course, that's always one of my favorite stories. And that is an honest to goodness thing. That is the only time that I remember Dan Ingram ever breaking up. Is that true?
Well, it's not quite. There are a few others.
Yeah, I remember walking. I had like 30 pair of jockey shorts.
I wondered, why did you buy so many?
I'm very clean. I think we were playing a baseball game, and so I change after every inning. I sweat a lot.
Oh, is that it?
And I walked in that town, and it was just one of those things. I reached into the bag, and it hit the ceiling, and it just rained briefs.
Oh, Lord.
The brief shot. I think one thing I'm going to tell you now, this was my favorite story with you, and this one I repeat to dear friends of mine, and it's not to embarrass you, but I think you'll love this one. Dan is the lucky daddy of many, many children. And his kids used to come up and sit with me. And when we did the Saturday show. And it's the same with my kind of kids. And it just shows you where children are today and how they think. And they went home, and I'll never forget the next day you came over and said, Bruce, I have a bone to pick with you. what's the matter, Dan? He says, I'm going to tell you a story. A couple of his kids came over to him, and after they sat with me for about 4 hours, they said, Dad, we sat with Cousin Brucey, a real DJ.
That's true.
Remember that?
They ungrateful little wretches.
That's terrific. I am so pleased. I'm so pleased that the way you are, and what is happening with your life, and the Dan Ingram is still right there, right on top, and that makes me the happiest guy in the world. What happens with you, well, it represents American radio. There's no doubt about it, Dan.
Bruce, do me a favor.
Yeah.
You're being very nice to me, and I would like you to tell the people the call letters of the 3 stations you own.
Well, if you right now, we are broadcasting together. I'm doing my show now in New Jersey 1510, which is in Morris County. We reach most of New Jersey. Competing with you, by the way.
Good.
The other one is WAL, W-A-L-L, WAL AM, the Bright Orange Sound, and we own 92K, which is up in Orange County, and we just bought another one, WJJB, in Poughkeepsie Hyde Park.
I didn't know that. You're up to 4?
Bought another one, yeah.
Hey, all right. You got your own network.
Well, that's what we're trying to do. So next one we're going to go out in the island or something. We're going to squeeze a little bit, squeeze the city. That's what I want to do.
Surrounding us like a noose.
And if you can put an offer in for ABC, I'm willing to talk to you and I.
Listen, I think you do pretty good these days.
That's absolutely terrific. But who else came around? Who else spoke to you today? One of our own friends.
Babalu was here. Ron Lundy was in. And they tell me other folks are coming in, too. They won't tell me everything that's happening.
That is absolutely marvelous. Well, I'll tell you, my career, my memoirs, the books that someday I hope to write, and I know you will too.
Oh, please don't, Bruce.
We'll have the nice stuff, and the happy stuff that I remember with Dan Ingram for all those years at WABC, which I got to tell you, Dan, was probably the happiest time of my life.
Me too. It was great. Great. Absolutely great working with you, Bruce, really.
Thank you.
Now, listen, do you remember a time when you and Scott Muni and I were on the air together? You were in a hotel, and
Don't tell him that story.
Oh no, not the one with the goat. No, this is when the Beatles were in a hotel room, and you and Scotso were there, and I was on the air, and by some freak we decided to get the 10,000 kids who are out in the street to sing along with our jingles.
Right.
Now, will Bruce be able to hear this if we play this now? Continue to talk with Bruce, because I want you to hear this, because I think this is something you haven't heard in a long time.
Well, ask who's the engineer of the board?
Frank D'Elia, the best.
Oh, you got a good one.
I got a good one.
Right. Will that come through the telephone?
It should come through the telephone.
That'd be great.
They're crossing their fingers. One guy is crossing himself. Another guy is making I see. That's a Star of David he's doing, right? We got at least a couple of religions covered.
A lot of equal time there.
Okay, good. Everybody ready? This is what happened when we asked the 10,000 kids who are out in the street outside the Beatles hotel room to sing along with our jingles.
And while you're in such a great mood, while that crowd is in such a great mood, Big Dan, out there on Park Avenue, and we dearly love them.
Yeah.
Scotzo's here with Cousin Brucey, and Dan, you're right there. Let's have a little sing-along with all the crowd out there. Everybody stand by. We want you to sing along to a few of our All-American jingles. Let's live it up.
All right, can I sing along with the one about the team first?
Let's do the team. Everybody stand by and listen and sing along to our team jingle.
All right, here we go. Sing along.
The greatest team in the world. You! And 77 WABC. All-American.
That's pretty good. You think they can do it a little louder this time if we play a different jingle for them?
Yeah, they'll try it again. They're great. We love them.
Let's go with another jingle.
Let's go with another one, Dan.
Your world.
That's almost good enough. One more time with another jingle. One more time with another jingle. All right? Here we go. This time real big. Let's hear it now.
Let's swing with the All-American on 77 WABC.
I think that deserves a Beatles record, right? Okay, let's go with Beatles music. Roll over, Beethoven. Go!
Remember that, Bruce?
Oh, I just got a chill.
Yeah.
That gave me the chill. Dan, remember, I was standing in the room there, and I even went over to the Venetian blinds, and they went crazy.
It was insane. It was a moment that will never be equaled again, I think.
I thought, and that's kind of it shows the power of radio. What a station like a WABC can do, it's frightening with the power.
It is frightening.
And all the fun we had. I'll never forget when they came in and they called us. Remember the night they called us from the car when they first arrived at
the airport.
Idlewild, I guess, at Kennedy at that time.
Right.
They did. We love you, WABC.
That's right.
And that was the last time they were nice like that.
Well, they were younger then, I guess. It was.
They were scared. They were nervous.
Oh, sure.
That tape gave me a thrill. That really did.
I'll get you a copy of it.
Would you do that? I would really love that.
I certainly will. And Bruce, thank you so much. It's been great talking to you. Continued great success to you.
I consider you as one of my very closest, dearest friends. We've gone through so much together, and what you're doing there in the microphone at in that studio over there at 1330, I feel at home. I feel very, very much at home with those microphones.
Well, thank you, Bruce. Good talking to you.
Thank you. And Dan, listen, if you ever want a morning job or an afternoon job, I got 4 stations I can use you.
Maybe I get some weekend work. It wouldn't be a total loss.
I'll give you Saturdays and Sundays off.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Bruce. Thank you so much. That's Bruce Morrow. And as long as we're here, there's something I wanted to do. I got to reach around and back here to do it because the other voice you heard on there was the voice of Scott Muni. And someone said Scott Muni came in and said something about me, and I guess this is what it was.
Tonight, hear your top 12 favorites. The Daily Dozen, as voted by you, our listeners, beginning at 7:15 on the new WABC Instant Sound Survey. At 8:15, the Scott Muni Show goes solid gold with the hits of yesterday. And then again at 9, more of your hits of the day, the voice of the people on the exciting and exclusive WABC Instant Sound Survey. Tune in Scotland's Yard tonight and every night, 7:15 till 10 on WABC, one of America's great stations.
That's Scott Muni at 7:15. You be sure to be here when he plays the top 12, the Daily Dozen from the Instant Sound Survey on WABC, the swing-along sound of New York. WABC hit time, 19 minutes before 6 o'clock. And you, Dan Ingram, go.
Hey, Big Dan, it's Scott Muni, old Scotso. So, 20 years in one place. Wow. That's got to be some kind of a record. The professor remembers when you started on the air there. As a matter of fact, I remember your first show when you said, "This is Big Dan Ingram on WIL St. Louis, WABC New York."
That's right.
Very officially and all in one breath.
Sure did.
And I remember, too, you were only 16 when you started, so let's see, you're about 36. Not bad. Well, we wish you continued success in everything you do, and I hope that you will appreciate the Timex watch that your chief bosses are going to give you for 20 years in the service.
I love it. Thank you, Scott. He's on WNEW-FM now. He's a program director there, and he's one hell of a nice guy. And Rick James came back with some more interesting things about what happened in the next 5 years, which was 66 on?
Starting with 66, your 5th anniversary show.
Right.
And a lot of guys would call that a career.
Yeah. I think the shelf life of the disc jockey in New York is something averaging out to 3.5 to 4 years.
That's what I'd always heard, that about 5 years, a person would burn out in the market and had to move on.
True.
And you were just starting to get rolling, which is something.
I was too young to know it, but that's true.
This was a year of bright promise in New York City, 1966. It was the first year of the Lindsay administration, a handsome young congressman from the Silk Stocking District taking office as a Republican and a liberal, ending years of Democratic domination of New York's top elective office. With a Republican liberal as mayor and Republican liberal Nelson Rockefeller the governor of New York State, it seemed to be the dawning of unparalleled cooperation between New York City and Albany. We would learn differently, of course. March 15th of 1966 saw black teenagers rioting in Watts again. On April 21st of the year, Houston Dr. Michael DeBakey would implant the first artificial heart in a human patient. The patient lived. That was 1966. In 67, times were turning darker. U.S. involvement grew in a far-off land called Vietnam.
Oh, incidentally, parenthetically, that person who had the artificial heart was a program director.
Yes.
That was necessary.
Yes. And installed, especially for that. June of 1967 would see the 6-day Arab-Israeli war. Things were going from bad to worse at home as well. On January 27, 67, the 3 Apollo astronauts, Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee, died at Cape Kennedy in a fire during a simulated spacecraft launch. That was a tragic memory in the thoughts of the space program. Racial violence on the rise again as well in 67. A massive riot in Detroit saw 7,000 National Guardsmen and police move in to quell it. There would be trouble as well in Birmingham, Alabama, New Britain, Connecticut, Rochester, New York, and right here as well in Spanish Harlem. On October 2nd, 67, some blacks would take hope that their lot was changing as Thurgood Marshall, after appointment by President Johnson, became the first black ever on the U.S. Supreme Court. In 1967, we heard first of South Africa's Dr. Christian Barnard, who successfully transplanted a human heart in December of that year. Then on to 68. It was to be another dark year with very few pleasant highlights. On January 23rd of 68, North Korea seized the U.S. Navy ship Pueblo. A long ordeal began for Commander Lloyd Bucher and 82 shipmates. One of the major surprises in U.S. politics occurred in March 31st of 68, as President Lyndon Johnson announced he would not seek nor would he accept his party's nomination for another term. Then just 4 days later, shots rang out in Memphis, Tennessee, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was dead. More racial riots followed. Just 2 months later, June 5th, 1968, a shocked nation would be stunned into disbelief. Senator Bobby Kennedy of New York had been shot after winning the California Democratic presidential primary. He died the next day. In August of 68, rioting in Chicago during the Democratic National Convention that nominates Hubert Humphrey. Later that month, the Soviets invaded Czechoslovakia. On to 69, a man considered politically dead just 6 years before, a fellow named Richard M. Nixon takes office as the 37th President of the United States. The nation remembers the pledge of the late President Kennedy that Americans would be walking on the moon before the end of the decade, a pledge made in the early 60s when it seemed that the Soviets had an insurmountable lead in space exploration. In July of 1969, many of us would sit enthralled in front of our TV sets as we saw live that pledge fulfilled. The crew of Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, and Michael Collins had made it to moon orbit, with Armstrong and Aldrin soft landing the lunar vehicle on the moon's surface. Neil Armstrong would take that one small step for man, one giant step for mankind.
Rick, you know something that amazed me at the time? I'm a science fiction freak, and I've been reading science fiction. I was probably one of the charter subscribers to Astounding Science Fiction magazine years ago. And I sat there and I watched this, and I had my camera and I was taking pictures off the TV, and suddenly it dawned on me that just about everything had been predicted by all the science fiction writers. How they would land, how they would get out, what kind of suits they would wear, they'd jump around and all that. But nobody thought we'd be watching it live on TV. Incredible.
That is an incredible thought. There was something else in 1969 that would live with us through this day. It certainly did through last year. The summer of Chappaquiddick, a July 18th accident that would see Senator Edward Kennedy later pleading guilty to leaving the scene of the accident in which Mary Jo Kopechne died in that submerged car. Then on to 1970, Mayor John Lindsay beginning his second term at New York City Hall. He's no longer a Republican, though. While not yet ready to bolt the party, Lindsay was denied renomination by the GOP. He won that second term on the liberal line and took office in 1970. The honeymoon between Lindsay and Governor Rockefeller was at an end by that time. The course of U.S. policy and perhaps world history would be changed by the events on May 4th of that year, 1970. It seemed just another anti-war demonstration on the campus of Kent State University in Ohio, where students had massed to protest the incursion of U.S. troops into Cambodia. Suddenly, National Guardsmen opened fire. 4 of those students were dead. Later in that year, June 24th, 1970, the U.S. Senate would repeal the Gulf of Tonkin resolution that it had passed, and the resolution which had allowed former President Johnson to send U.S. troops into Vietnam. And that was the beginning of the end, I think, of U.S. involvement in Vietnam.
Yes, it was.
So that's 5 more years.
5 more years, and it went by like in 3 minutes. That's that's a little frightening.
We may have forgotten something.
We got a little drunk one night after something. We took a WABC sticker and put it on the back of the WINS mobile news unit. It stayed there for 3 months until one day we were driving by. We see it's been hastily scraped off. Speaking of mobile things, we got the Shadow with us.
We should have.
Joe Nolan is standing by to do whatever it is. Is there any traffic out there, Joe?
First of all.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I am amazed. A year and a half ago, God's honest truth, if anyone told me that I'd be on the program with Cousin Brucey and Scott Muni and yourself and Bob Lewis and I would have told them, sure. But
why not?
I learned. Well, listen. I learned
democracy.
True. I learned a lot at Seton Hall and in Sterling and a lot of places where I work. But in the last year, almost now for me, I have learned more about broadcasting and being a professional on the air from you than I could have ever learned from anybody else anywhere. And no, I'm serious, and I'm young, and I've got hopefully a long career ahead of me.
Oh, you do.
And
you have a damn good career ahead of you, my friend.
And I just want to say, from everybody here at Shadow Traffic and in all the offices in Philadelphia and Chicago and here, and Fred Feldman and Susan Murphy, our program director, and everybody else here, I just want to say congratulations and best wishes, and I hope you're here another 20 years because we need you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, have you got any traffic for
I'm sorry, I forgot. Coming down to Van Wyck, still very heavy as you leave Kew Gardens down Hillside Avenue. There was an earlier accident there. If you are going to be traveling south on the Jersey, there is there was a serious train accident there. That's still in the process of being cleaned up. Also, you've got 20-minute delays on the 2, 3, 4, and 5 trains in Brooklyn, other than, of course, the no service that we mentioned before. So, I am Joe Nolan with WABC Shadow Traffic.
Thank you, sir. Catch you during the real news at 55.
Yes, sir.
All righty. You know, something happened during that tape we were playing before about a Beatles spectacular, a Beatles doubleheader. I mean, later on in FM, they used to play 2, 3, 4 records in a row. Well, we did that every half hour on WABC all through the 60s, the mid-60s. Every half hour we came out of the news with a Beatles doubleheader. And the reason we could do that is at one time, 9 out of the top 10 tunes on our list were Beatles records. And we just thought for old time's sake we'd do it again.
Ingram 20th. Congratulations, Dan. WABC. The Beatles Spectacular is really moving. Woo! On 77 WABC. She loves you, WABC wins it. Hold your hand, and when I touch you, I feel happy. Hold your hand, I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. He's a Tomcat. Dan Ingram.
I used to get mail saying, what the hell you mean you're a tomcat? I'm more of a pussycat myself. Well, as you heard, we had an awful lot of jingles in those. God, did we have jingles. And we had promos and promos and promos. Here's one of the promos that, this takes me back to 1965.
Let's go, go, go.
Your radio is set for the go-go sound of All-American Radio, WABC. After the Jets game and throughout the week, all day and night, the Jet Set sings and swings to the sound of modern America. The go-go music of WABC. The biggest hits of the day, plus the biggest hits of recent years. Presented by radio's most popular air personalities, the All-American team of WABC. Herb Oscar Anderson, Cousin Bruce Morrow, Charlie Greer, Bob Lewis, and yours truly, Dan Ingram. WABC is where you hear the news 5 minutes sooner, too.
Go, go, go.
That's right, 77 Radio is the station to stay with, because WABC gives you everything you want to hear, at home, in your car, at any time of the day or night. You stay with 77 Radio, All-American Go-Go Radio, WABC.
There was supposed to be a go, 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 go on the end of that. That's the other version, I guess, yeah. That sounded like Alvino Ray and the Clark sisters, who used to, one of them was married to him, I think, as a matter of fact, and that was during the Alvino Ray jingle singing times. We had all kinds of jingles and promos. This was another one that ran.
This week, WABC proudly presents these super hit sounds, the Rolling Stones. The Jive 5.
I'm a happy man.
Tom Jones.
What's new, pussycat? Whoa.
Sonny and Cher.
I got you, babe.
Jerry Lewis and the Playboys.
Save your heart for me.
The Four Tops. The Beatles.
Help. I need somebody.
Plus dozens of other top stars in continuing entertainment presented by the All-Americans. 4 minutes of the music you want to hear are heard on Go-Go Radio.
77 WABC.
Yeah, me and Don Amell, who is an engineer here, is now the chief engineer of WLS in Chicago. And one hell of a nice guy. Used to do those every week. That was fun. And also paid for it, too, which was nice. We might as well play one of those records that's in that tune back in are you ready? 65, the number one tune of that year. The Stones, Satisfaction. Can't get no positive traction. I used to always say that on the air, and nobody ever knew why. It was because I had ordered a Chevrolet, and and they kept telling me after 3 months that they couldn't get it because they couldn't get any positive traction. And I had ordered it, and as a matter of fact, I canceled the order. I never bought the car. But that's another story. That was back in the days where we had 464 cubic inch engines, and all that garbage like that. Remember this thing?
This is Radio WABC, where the beat goes on every day, day after day. ABC! Moving you through life with a musical beat, the bigger beat, the better beat. The beat goes on 77 Radio WABC.
More and more people hear more and more music on 77 WABC.
Yeah, the beat goes on. I was inspired by the Marquis de Sade, as I recall. It was one time when the beat didn't go on. As a matter of fact, I was on the air, the first big blackout, and we have an actual air check. I don't know where it came from, but it's an actual, someone had power, an actual air check of what happened at about, it was about 5:15. Again, the music is telescoped in this, so you won't hear all the records, but if you listen carefully, you'll hear things slowing down, because as the power went down, our tape machines, by this time we're all on tape, everything's on tape, no turntables at all. Our tape machines were slowing down along with the power, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. And a couple minutes later, in the middle of the newscast, that was it. And I grabbed an armload of records and drove very slowly out to our transmitter in Lodi, New Jersey. I was on the air with my good friend who I met back in New Haven many years ago, Tom Romano, and I were on together doing a talk show till about 4:30 that morning, because we had power at our transmitter, but we didn't have it in the studio. Anyway, this is what happened on the air during the blackout.
Everyone's gone to the moon. Does that sound particularly slow to you? Bugs me so much. Everyone's gone. Trying to become a bass. To the moon. That's Everyone's Gone to the Moon by Jonathan King. I think in the key of R right there. Something in one of the cracks anyway. Well, we'll straighten it out. Anyway, that's number 9 this week. What can I tell you? 21 minutes past 5 o'clock. The equipment in here says Signal Corps 19.2. Well, anyway, thank you, Signal Corps. Hey, listen, ladies, whether your husband makes his way home in a crowded 7th Avenue subway train, taste or value. It's running slowly. I know what's going on. It's 46 degrees and it's clear, dude. There's a man called Adam, old man Adam, makes the sorrows come around. Old man Adam's and the sorrows come. Everything sounds like it's running in slow motion here. I know what's going on. It is, too. This is a very lazy river. Cy Sentence Band to take us up to news time. The lights are dimming in the studio. You wouldn't believe what's going on in the studio, folks. The lights are getting dim. The electricity is slowing down. I didn't know that could happen. Beautiful there. That's Lazy River in the key of R. Everything's running slowly. Somebody's, I think Con Ed is having power problems or something, because everything's running at half speed, including me. Hey, listen, we got Action Central News next, and then right after another complete edition of Action Central News, we shall return with the number 10 goodie by Herbie Albert of Tijuana Brass called Taste of Honey, honey. Sure.
sooner from WABC Radio. Little hope is given for the life of Roger Laporte, the 22-year-old Catholic pacifist who set himself afire in a protest against war at the UN today. The chief resident in surgery at Bellevue, Dr. Jay Grossfeld, told WABC's Larry Murphy Laporte is in critical condition.
I know of no reported cases of patients with this degree of total body burn who have survived.
And that was it. Went right. Not quite. What you're hearing is some noise from a thing called a soundscriber, which continued to run, and they were able to, I just remember, they were able to recreate it by slowing down and speeding up the tape. That's how I got played back so you could hear what really went on the air. Remember this?
You're in with
Big Dan. I hated that jingle. It sounded like that scene from Blazing Saddles, if you remember it well. You know, all this day could not go by without the frequent mention of a guy who is probably more responsible for your listening habits in the last 20 years than anybody else, Mr. Rick Sklar.